Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AEC's podcast, SHAPEMAKERS. Before we dive into this week's episode, make sure that you're signed up for the Aluminum Extrusions Technical Seminar and Exposition, also known as ET. ET will be held next year, April 30th through May 2nd, 2024, at the Rosen Shingle Creek in Orlando, Florida. Make your travel plans now. Join the aluminum extrusion industry's professionals from over 50 countries. Do not hesitate any longer. Grab your tickets at et24.us. And now to our episode of SHAPEMAKERS.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jason Weber. I'm the Vice President of Government Affairs and Operations for the Aluminum Extruders Council. This is episode 53 of the SHAPEMAKERS. Today, we're going to have the opportunity to discuss the upcoming ET conference and technology forum that will take place in Orlando at the Rosen Shingle Creek Resort on April 30th and May 2nd. It's going to be truly, each ET is a one-of-a-kind event, although they always follow the same format. This year is no different than any other ET that's been produced in the past, where we have a whole slate of technical presentations. There should be on order of 120 different technical presentations in 7 different tracks, as well as the expo and other networking events, as well as we always add on the in conjunction events that will take place the day before and the day after. So in those in conjunction events, you have events like the Die Clinic, press optimization, as well as the Aluminum Anodizers Council is going to be putting on an essentials anodizers class. So all that information can be found on the ET website. That's etfoundation.org, or you can get to the ET Expo website through AEC.org. So my background, for those of you who I haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, I've had over 27 years of working in aluminum extrusions. So much too long, but within the last several months, I've transitioned from my sales and marketing role of working for aluminum extruders into working for the Aluminum Extruders Council. But even though I've had this recent change in coming to work directly for the council, I've always been a volunteer and a member. Maybe I shouldn't say always, but definitely over the last 13 years was my first involvement with the AEC. Coming forward through then, I believe in 2016, 2017 was when I actually joined the ET committee and helped produce the event. The last one of which was in 2022, and now we're doing it again in 2024. But through that, that volunteerism that the AEC and ET requires. Or requests, I guess is a better term to use. I mean, the volunteers are the backbone of all these organizations and all these efforts that we put together. And it's without these volunteers that, if they weren't there, we could not do this. And we give a big thanks to our volunteers and everyone that's associated with it, from the staff perspective at the AEC and ET to the members that give their hearts and minds to the event. But like I said, my involvement in the extrusion industry has been long. Learned a lot of different things along the way, and I'm still looking forward to learning new things, especially with this next iteration of ET that we're getting ready to open up. It is truly an exciting time to be in the industry. A lot of us can think back to the way it was, obviously pre-COVID, if not, a decade, 2 or 3 before. And if you think about the last maybe 10 years within the industry, it has really changed, right? And we all know that the pace of change has quickened and continues to quicken. And it's through events like ET that we find the value in making sure that the attendees, the exhibitors, all have the opportunity to learn and to increase their knowledge base. So that's really, when you obviously think about ET, that's the heart and soul of ET, is expanding your knowledge base. So whether you're, a first timer, or somebody that's come to the last several ETs, or maybe you're somebody that's been to every ET since 1984. There's always something to learn, when you come to ET. But it's also not just coming to ET, because part of the value of ET is you're also given access to all the proceedings. So keep in mind that the technical sessions that are presented, are not necessarily the full paper, right? It's really a highlight of the paper. It's what you're going to learn by reading the paper, and you receive all of those papers. So all of that technical detail that you can take back to your company and implement those changes to make your company better in whatever track you're looking at. This iteration of ET is going to be, again, different than what it was before, right? It's not the same information, but this year we've also added an additional track to the technical tracks, which is track 7, which is really focused on end users. One thing about the extrusion industry, without our customers, we would be nowhere, right? We all need people to sell to. Doesn't do us any good to make extrusions, and those designers, engineers, even purchasing agents at the extrusion end user all have something to gain by attending an ET. Not necessarily just because of track 7, but because everyone at the AEC believes that an informed customer is the best customer, is that there you will learn all the different pieces of the puzzle that go into making an extrusion, because it's not always just about the die or the press or the handling system or whatever other downstream operations that an extrusion might go through, right? It's a holistic view of how that all comes together to create the pieces and parts that our customers need. So again, I think that is one of the biggest changes to this iteration of ET, which is really a focus on end users and markets. So, with past ETs, there's always been the automotive spotlight. That will continue to be there. We will also have a showcase of other extrusion applications from a variety of different end uses and manufacturers, as well as the design competition, which will be there, so you can have the opportunity to view some new designs, not only from industry but also from students as well. So we really work very hard to make this an educational event. So, it's not just a trade show and it's not just a conference. It's really the blending of both worlds when it comes to ET. Within the last couple of weeks, the ET committee has been busily preparing for the upcoming event. In fact, we just had our final in-person meeting at Rosenshingle Creek in Orlando. So we were able to not only work on the final program and how everything is going to come together, but also review the facility. And I got to tell you, this is a magnificent place. I haven't been to every ET, but I can tell you that this facility, there's not going to be a better one, from not only just the size and the accommodations, but then also to the on-site amenities. Obviously, if you have some time during ET, which we hope you don't, but if you want to go golf, you can golf. There will also be an opportunity as part of your registration package. There'll be discounted tickets to Disney World. So if you happen to bring the family and they want to go to Disney World, there is an opportunity to get those discounted tickets, as well as the facility is not too far from International Drive and the big Orlando Convention Center, which, there are tons of restaurants and things to do all up and down that. So you really don't have to venture too far at all. And outside of that, the facility itself, I think there's something like 8 restaurants, lounges, coffee shop. Every morning there will be, a buffet. Plus, we had the opportunity while we were in our ET committee meeting to sample the food that they prepared directly. That will be part of your registration. And it was awesome. It was really good. There wasn't a single thing that they put in front of us that that we said wasn't going to be acceptable. So definitely we have done all that we can to not only prepare for this event, but to make sure that the attendees have a wonderful ET when they're in Orlando. A little bit more on the the technical sessions, which are at the core of what ET is. From its founding in 1969, it's been these presentations, these technical papers that have been presented that are really the foundation of ET. There are technical tracks: billet, process and equipment, extrusion design and innovation, extrusion design process application, extrusion finishes and fabrication. So there you're going to learn about not only about CNC machining, but other forms of bending, as well as finishing from anodizing paint, extrusion and die research and development, and a little bit twist on one of the former tracks, which we've actually renamed it to sustainability and management. And I think as we've all seen over the last several years, sustainability has been it's more than a buzzword, right? It's the way that we need to move forward. So there are many different technical presentations in there having to do with sustainability, from sustainable die manufacturing to the value of lightweighting vehicles to recycling, so many different things. It's hard to really quantify everything that's going to be there. And really it's coming, knowing what papers that you want to, let's say, preview up front, going to those different events or those different sessions, and then going back, right? I think the key here is your takeaways. What did you learn? What are you going to take back home to your company? And how you're going to implement that in your daily life. It's very, very important. But before ET this year is the 75th anniversary of the Aluminum Extruders Council. So in March, we will all be gathering in Tucson. And part of our annual meeting will actually be the 75th celebration of the Aluminum Extruders Council. We have some exciting things planned for that. The AEC is busily working on a nice video to help kind of set the stage for everything. We have some special events occurring on the Saturday night dinner that we'll be putting on, as well as I'm going to say the usual Friday golf outing, other opportunities to venture out and explore the Tucson area on Saturday afternoon, plus the general sessions on Thursday and Friday, as well as the team meetings that occur prior to the annual conference, which again, all of those staffed by member volunteers, whether they're suppliers, producers, extruder members, everyone takes, or we would like for everyone to take part in at least a committee or multiple committees and teams, because again, that's where the genesis for what AEC is or is going to be comes from, because that is where really the members have an effect on setting the direction of the AEC as we move forward into our next 75 years. So the AEC annual meeting and the ET conference, are not the only things that are being produced between now and then. Be on the lookout for the AEC meets emails that come out. You can also find AEC meets on aec.org. So you can look for upcoming webinars and different events that might be taking place. Of course, through AEC, you can register for the annual meeting, which will take place in March, as well as through etfoundation.org, where you can register for the upcoming ET conference. We have many different opportunities or places, to find different information. You can also follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, Instagram to a certain degree, where all of these things will also be posted. And for your members that are seeing these, we would also ask you to like and share these different posts that come out, because at the end of the day, one of the things, especially with the ET Foundation and ET, we're trying to expand its reach because it is a global show. And we have the opportunity to, let's say, help the rest of the world in expanding their knowledge as well.